Hi everyone, this is a tutorial I've been asked to do. I've had a lot of people asking about my collage pages and how I go about sort of thinking when I'm putting them together. I have to admit, the honest answer is I don't think. I just sort of do it. But I've had a sort of the weekend in between the house hunting to try and get things sorted. So these are my thoughts on my version of how I do a collage. Now I have put together a page, this one, for if you want to have a go at doing the same thing. I can't find a way of putting a free one on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, oh my life, on my Facebook page. So what I'm going to do is I will go into various groups, so Junk Journal Junkies, the UK version of Junk Journal Junkies, advanced Junk Journal tutorials, I think, and I will see if I can upload a file. So you can just download this and have a play along and see what you come up with, because I guarantee it will be different to what I do, and I would love to see what you do it. I will also put the picture actually on my main Facebook page, so if you want to sort of right click on it, you can save it to your PC or whatever you use, whatever form of technology you're using, and print it out. I've sized it so it should fit on a 11.5 by 8. Other sizes I've gone for on this, so it will fit the UK A4 plus international sizes. So that's that one. That's the freebie that goes with it. And these are the individual bits that I've already cut out. So different types of fussy cutting. So this is what I would normally do. So I've cut round everything. So you get, where am I? There we are. So I've cut round everything to get the definition. And then this, which is probably a lot easier. So you leave a white border around it, and you just use it as is. Choice is yours, whichever way you do it. Somebody was asking which scissors do I use. I've got some of these Fiskars Easy Action, they're called. Little ones, no handles, so I don't get me flipping fingers stuck in the handles, which is always a problem for me. I, as usual, got everything off Amazon, so I will, I'll put a link below for this so you can see what I use. Right, what to start? My collages, I do tags, so any kind of tag. Paper bags, I find that the choice of paper bag, obviously the colour that you're using, will make a difference to how your collages turn out, colour-wise. They will look very different on different colour papers. What I have done, I had some wonderful paper bags from Crafty Irina, and I've started to glue 2 of them together for the right, so I can actually use them, because they are a bit too wide for my books. So I sort of get them to the size I want them. So I want them about 11, and then I glue down the middle. And then if you want to, you can stitch down either side just to sort of finish it off. So it's not exact. Collages are not about being exact. They're about having a bit of fun. Oops, the glue's not working. And seeing what you come up with. Bear with me while I unstick my glue. So there. One side. And then the other. Obviously being a bit more careful than I have been in this one. And that then gives me my page for my collage. Yeah, I'd probably run a bit of glue down that seam as well, the gusset on the bag. There we go. I find it easier to use a ruler just to sort of give me, when I've got a seam. So otherwise the bags tend to flare out on me. So that's how I'd make my base for my collage for a page. Except I can't find a burn folder. Bear with me. And I thought I was organised this morning. There we go. So that would be that base. The other one is a paper bag. I'll just cut the ends off it. Make sure that I get it so it's not creased in the middle. And that's the other one. I like doing, I have to admit, I like doing them on the big pages because they are, they give you a lot more scope for playing with. If I just ink round the edges. I use, this is wax paper. I think it came off one of the fabric sheets that I use. And they are brilliant, I found, for me, for this, because they just give me a surface. But if I need to, I can clean. I have to admit I don't. I just throw it away. But it does mean that I can put everything else down on that if I need to. Yeah, I've also made the mistake of not doing this first and then having to very delicately try and get over and around the images that I've stuck on. Not good. Okay. So one bag ready to use. Sorry about my arms being in the way. So that's my base prepared, and it's the same for whatever you're using, whether it's little, big. I always use a background page. I'm not a huge fan of white, so I've got a couple of different pages here. This is actually an Artie Maze page from one of the kits. I'm doing a blue one. Well, blues, pinks, purples, that type of thing. So any colour that you want, that's a bit of scrap paper that I've printed off to use. Well, that was actually a test for my, now I want to make it, so if I just rip off the end bits, and then I can measure roughly. So I don't want it too close to the seam or too close to the edge. About there. I think I will keep that little bit of a flower on the bottom. So there I have my base, my collage. So quick ink. I am trying to keep all this on camera. Sorry if I keep disappearing. go. So that's my base. I now know that my base fits on there. I don't mind if I have bits sticking over the edge that way, or maybe at the bottom. I wouldn't put bits hanging over this side simply because it's going to be catching and too close to where you're going to be stitching your signatures in. Likewise up here. I've done them for myself where I've had bits sticking up and they catch when I'm trying to put things in the bag. So I have a base, and then collages are really all about layers. I've got different pages here. They were ripped out of a watercolour painting book that we've been decluttering. That's the word, decluttering. Ready for the house move. I've got a book page that might go quite nicely. There's a bit of Edith Holden page. That's maybe a bit too dark. What else have we got? Oh, that goes. Bit of music paper. So, what do I want to keep? That word. So if I do a bit of music paper, if I get rid of some of that top bit. I don't know. Oh, actually, that might go that way. So how wide do I want this? I love this. You can just sort of rip apart anything you want. It's great. You know, when you're a kid and you're told off for ripping things to bits. So if I start off with that kind of size, we've either got plain music paper on the back, or we've got something with a... Don't worry if it's not square. That's the whole beauty of these things. I have to admit, I do like having things off at an angle. That's my own personal take on it. If you're like things square, then, you know, you'll arrange it. I like, I like things to be a little quirky. I think I am going to go for... Ooh. Actually, do you know, that side just might fit a little better. And then it's all about what do you want in your pictures. So start with an idea. Music paper does not have to be the right way up. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be any way you want it. It's whatever works best for you. That's why I like junk journals, because they are just... anything goes. I've then found, what do I want as my main focal point? Now I quite like these dragonflies, but it doesn't really show up on that. Do you know what? We are going to have a change of plan. Get rid of some of this. Oops. I've broken all my nails. I'm trying to sort the garden out. So that needs to be a bit. beauty is that whatever bits, I always stick them in a box and then go back to them for that, I think, and then that one there. So if you like, there are two backgrounds, and then I want that as one of my main focal points, I think. That would go with it. I like to put things off at an angle. What I do try and do is make sure that whatever images I'm using as my main focal points, I overlap. So I'm going onto the main, the bit you're going to stick to your tag, to your bag, whatever or your page. It just helps tie, I think, my own personal opinion, helps tie everything together. And then that's when the fun bit starts, because then you can start decorating. So maybe that one. Or we could put a little butterfly up there. I printed off a load of words because I wasn't sure which one I liked, which one would work. Oops. And that's how I do it. It is very much a question of just putting everything together, moving it around, having a play. Well, that actually looks a lot better without that word on. No, too bright. So, what else have we got? So that's my finished. I'm going to have a play with this. Of course I am. Because there are so many other ways of adding texture. I've got lace which could go across the bottom of it. Or there is, oops, instead of the lace, how about maybe just one of these flowers, if I can figure out which is the top and which is the bottom. Oh, well, I think I've just cut that wrong. Maybe to put some colour on that. No, definitely that way. And then that could also go on it. For me, I think the whole idea of taking them off the edges is just to break it up a bit. So you, what's the word? Thinking outside the box. It doesn't matter if you cover something up, unless you really, really like it, in which case it's like, okay, move that down there a bit. For the bottom doesn't matter if I overlap, neither does the side, because I know that that is going to be on the outside of the book. Or if I've got little flowers. Now for these, they're just bog standard. For me in the UK, it's Hobbycraft. Just some little, I think they were originally for a wedding, and they were white and very, very cheap. So it was a question of getting, and I buried everything. This is Victorian Velvet, but whatever colour matches your scheme. And I just go along and I'm just adding, just dabbing it on, just to give it a bit of colour. That could go on there. Although for me that would be too bulky, but it's very oops. These little sprays are the same. I pick them up in bargain clearance shops. And you can, if you squeeze the back, get them so that they're, oops, without destroying them, so they can lie quite flat. So they could go, although I think personally they are better and less obtrusive, going up the side. Lots and lots of different ideas. So if I was to say that one, and then just do a much smaller version on a tag. Tags are great because you can really sort of make your own mark on that. Bit of music paper. I place it on so I know roughly where I want it to be. Ruler's the other side, and just rip it down. So you could have that, and then if you just curl the end up a bit, give it a bit of texture perhaps. At the top, no, definitely at the top. A bit skewy, because that's the kind of person that I am. Not quite all there. Don't know. What colours do you think we're going for? Oh, that's a pretty pink. Opposite angle, hanging off the edge just a little bit. We could even put the other dragonfly one on. So if I move that up a touch, put that on there. The words that I've got printed off are going to be too big, I think. Right, okay, this is where all of a sudden you figure out, oh, Zoe can't cut in a straight line. You're right, I can't. It's all about layers. Collages are all about the layers. Just keep building the layers until you're happy with what you've got. Now that one, the pink flower. So if I put the words beautiful up there, and perhaps keep the bulky bit to the bottom. I could do that. Or I've got this little white one, which will fit on the side up there, or even the other side. These are brilliant. I just love having a play with these. I can lose myself in these things because there's no hard and fast rules as to what you can and what you can't do. We've even got some sari silk offcuts, perhaps a bit scrumpled up. Just so it ties everything together. A bit coming off the edge, add a bit of texture to it. I quite like that actually, that'd work. Cut that bit off. You're going to have to bear with me and imagine that I've got my sewing machine out, which I haven't. And then just sort of scrumple it up and just sew down on it. And that, I think, would make a brilliant tag. Oh, I like that. It's always good when it comes together. There's a bit, no, too much, too big. Or if you want a fussy cut, I have a bowl of fussy cut stuff that I keep. So there's one. Just put your nail either side of his body. Just bend it up a bit. And that way then you keep your flat bit for gluing. So get rid of words. Okay, that doesn't work with that bit sticking up, so that would have to be glued down. That works. In fact, the colours go quite nicely with it. And then it needs something for the bottom. With a bit of lace, I think. For the bottom. And then perhaps the sari silk would then, there we go. So if I just zoom in a minute, you can see, there we go. So you can see what I've got together. So started off with the music paper, a bit of an angle, then I've got the picture, and then another picture just overlapping it, and then I've added my butterfly that I've bent up just to go on there, because obviously it will flatten down if you're putting it into a journal page. So he can go there, and then, yep, and then a bit of sari silk. No, that looks odd, doesn't it? I actually quite like that flower at the side, and that gives you a very, very three-dimensional. I have found, so if I put this together, I'll show you how I put my found a brilliant way for me that works for me for putting my my flowers on. So I wanted that about there. So if we plonk him about there. And then what goes in. Oh, that might look a little better square. So that first one. So excuse me, I am fingers and thumbs this morning. So left a little bit of the music paper just showing at the top. And then maybe that one follows it down. Oh, what do you think? A slightly different angle. Yeah, I think that one. A slightly different angle to the music paper underneath. Just to add a bit of contrast, a bit of... Right, for those of you that are more, you will have noticed that it's jumped. That's because my camera cut off and I didn't realise. So I'm having to, I apologise for the poor editing, but this bit's got to be fitted back in the middle. What I've done, I've decided obviously to put where are we? There we go. I've decided to put these flowers on the side. So what I've done is I've made 2 little marks, 2 little cuts, and I've used one of these punches. I think it was supposed to be for ribbons. Either way, it works really well for this. So I've punched it through, so I've got the 2 little holes. And then it's a question of just flattening out the flowers to the side I want them and threading it through. And then I need to just bend it to shape. Because they're wire, it's great. They move. So there we go. There is the flower threaded through on the back. And then I will go on to put a bit of decoration across the bottom. I like it just to give it a bit of perhaps depth, a bit of added interest. I love this lace. So that then just glued on to the bottom of that. Right, my battery is about to die on my camera, so I will make this as quick as I can. Where are we? I don't want to cover up too much of the dragonfly, but I do want to make it look like it's included in the... For me, it just seems like I'm just completing my collages now. So, there we go. One is a bit that won't stick. And we have a very 3-dimensional tag that's made up of lots of different elements, lots of different textures. That's what I like to add, lots of different textures to it. And that is really annoying. So, a 3D tag, a very me tag. I like it to just pick your colour palette and then add something that pops. So for me it's this. That butterfly is what really sort of is the oddball colour, because everything else in nature is what you'd find together. That's that one. This one is exactly the same. The colours are all very much on the same type of palette, so they go together. Like I say, I will add the picture onto my Facebook page, and then you can have a look and you can see whether or not you want to have a play with them. If not, they're just freebies. Enjoy. I hope this has been of some use to you, so you can actually see. I don't put a lot. I just go with the flow. When I put things together, it is very much go with the flow. See what works. I don't glue anything down until I'm happy with it. And then it's like, do you know what? Yep, that'll do. Oh, that is so annoying. Right, I hope that has been of some use to you. It probably hasn't, simply because I can't really give you the inside of my brain, because if I'm honest, I don't really understand how my brain works half the time anyway. But that's my process for doing my collages. Have fun, enjoy, and I'd love to see what you do. So take care, and I will speak to you all later. Bye.